The circadian rhythm, our internal time clock, that's what was screwed up in me. Because I wasn't getting light, and it was light outside. So I just had the realization that there's a rhythm to light and dark, like yin and yang. There's a rhythm to that. In my entire life, I always thought of the rhythm starting with the yang, the outward movement. But the rhythm actually has to start from the yin. It has to come in before it can go out. There has to be an upstroke before there can be a downstroke. Alright, so in the middle of day 8 here, and I think I finally got my sleep rhythm going. My dad brought me these like sleeping pills, and they're an all-natural thing, and he had the list of ingredients and all of that, and I was reading about it and tried one the other night. But it has melatonin in it, and which works wonders for some people, but for me it tends to make my heart race. I don't know why, which then keeps me up. So I took one the other night. It was like 2 nights ago, and stayed up just like normal, you know. It just that feeling like my circadian rhythm was swapped. And but on the list of ingredients, it talked about it, and talked about helping. One of the ingredients helped, you know, with your circadian rhythm and to get that switched around. And it talked about the light and how like light helps trigger that rhythm, you know, make it make you realize that it's daytime and want to be up and stuff. And reading that actually was what kind of finally made the change, because I've been trying to sleep at night when the room is dark, but then during the day when I'm playing the whole time, I was closing my eyes and the room was barely lit. I just had one little lamp on in the corner. So my body was never getting the signal to switch to daylight, or that it was daytime. You know, it's still basically on Japan time, even though that had been several weeks. So then yesterday I finally took and I like opened the windows a little bit more. Any chance I was on break or going to the bathroom, I would look outside and get sunlight into my eyes. And I literally like felt it switch. So I thought it was pretty ironic that as a drummer I'm working on rhythms all day, and my own internal circadian rhythm was like completely backwards. Pretty funny thing to have happening during this whole thing, but I think I finally got it. I feel like normal during the days now. I'm not completely exhausted and stuff, so yep. Alright, it's the end of day 8. Been more than a week. Yeah, hard to believe. It's funny in some ways that this seems so natural. Like the meditation retreat that I did, you know, 10 days of meditation, and it was kind of such a like a culture shock in a way, because it's Vipassana meditation as taught by S.N. Goenka, and just half of the time he's speaking in Hindi, I think, is the language, and half of the time he's speaking in English and has a real thick accent, and you just kind of go in and sit down, but it's with a group of people. So it was really like culture shock. It was a great experience, but definitely like away from my norm. So doing this is actually just, like finally having the time to just sit down and explore the intricacies of this whole world of music that I've been living for like 30 years now. So yeah, it's pretty cool in that way. Today was the first day of turning off the machines. So no metronome, no click track, no like music loops or anything that I'm playing with. So I didn't even put in the in-ear monitors that I have hooked up through the whole system, and the kit's mic'd and all that stuff, and which is how I normally practice at home, you know, and it's been a very good means of practicing for me. You can practice you know, not just to a click track, but to a rhythm track and all of this different stuff. But like I said, I had this realization that, you know, it's time to tune into like my own inner rhythm and kind of develop that confidence, you know. And I definitely will get back to practicing with a metronome and rhythm tracks and stuff like that eventually. But because I'm in the midst of 40 days of practice, you know, I kind of have nothing to lose if I just get away from it for even a couple of weeks or whatever. So yeah, it feels good to do that. It felt good to do that today. You know, I was practicing like some 16th note syncopation exercises, just real basic stuff, just practicing the E, just stuff like that, and, you know, putting time in different places or not playing time against it at all. And I got out a shaker so that I can, and that sort of becomes the metronome, and then play the the syncopations with the shaker, and then take the shaker away and play it without it, and see if the rhythmic feel will be the same, and taking beats and playing them, and then taking one limb away, so maybe take the hi-hat part out, and see if the beat still feels the same with just the kick and snare, so that there's not that, like, that timekeeper, external timekeeper, you know, can I just keep it going from the inner pulse. Yeah, and it seems to be helping. I can kind of almost already feel the benefits of it. So, you know, we'll see what happens after a couple of weeks of doing that. And it just feels good to just play without, you know, a metronome. And playing with a metronome can be pretty frustrating, you know, because it's this insistent rhythm, and there's kind of no time, especially like when I'm learning a rhythm or whatever. You know, the metronome is just so unforgiving. Whereas if you're learning a rhythm, you might have a little hiccup in it early on, or hiccups, you know, but you hear them, and then you kind of get back on your own rhythm. And then, you know, I can hear that stuff when it happens, so now it's just making those hiccups not happen. Yeah, felt like a pretty good day overall. My circadian rhythm definitely feels better. You know, I'm feeling like I'm not just falling asleep as I'm playing. So that's good. Kind of getting into some zones with, you know, the Kenny Werner book, using his meditations still a couple times a day. Yeah, just enjoying the process. Thankful for this time to be able to do this. Yeah. See you later.